Well, we welcome you courtside here in Las Vegas, Game 4 of 5 here on the final day of the 2017 D3Hoops.com Classic. And it'll be Central against the Lutes of Pacific Lutheran. Central coming off a signature win, come-from-behind win over Ramapo yesterday. Pacific Lutheran looking for their first win of this tournament. Let's take a look at the starting lineups first. Pat Coleman, take us through the honors.
All right, we got at guard Jamel McKnight for Central, a 6'2 junior out of Austin, Texas, joined by Seth Wood, a sophomore forward. And in the front court as well, Caden Mock, Kyle Smith, and Malik Wildermuth.
Meanwhile, for Pacific Lutheran, who will control the ball first, as the effects will eventually come on the screen here.
Yeah.
Driving to the basket and laying it up and blocked by Wildermuth was the attempt by Dylan Foreman. Central coming in with the win over Ramapo, one of multiple now nationally ranked teams to fall in this tournament. Ramapo losing twice. And now Wartburg in the last game as a 3 goes down for Jamel McKnight. Well, let's take a quick look at the starters. We got Dylan DeWalt along with Leighton Kingma. Dylan Foreman, who we mentioned a moment ago, layup is missed here by Zach Webb, but he was able to get his own follow. And the 4th, 5th starter will be Marcus Glenn. We tried to get those graphics up, just not enough time in between games here.
Yeah.
As the games do move along quite quickly here in Vegas. Ira Thor, alongside my partner, Pat Coleman.
That's okay. We enjoy that the games move along quickly because we got 5 of them every day.
Yeah, I got a flight tonight. I'm going back to Jersey.
You got a plane to catch.
At 11 p.m., an overnight flight. And that pass is too far out in front of Caden Muck.
Central coming in off of the big come-from-behind win yesterday against Ramapo. Pacific Lutheran here in its second game of the tournament, trying to bounce back from its first game loss to Carroll.
A 76-54 loss to Carroll yesterday. And Pacific Lutheran now 3-6 on the year. Central, their record is deceiving. They are 4-7. They have played a lot of national ranked teams, and they've been in almost every game. And now with a signature win on their schedule. 3-pointer is off the mark by number 32, Leighton Kingma. Central in transition. Cross-court pass. Wildermuth with it. He gets trapped, and we'll have to swing it out. 3 points. That is good by Seth Wood.
You know, they rained down a bunch of threes yesterday against Ramapo, but they did a lot of things and a lot of things well in that comeback victory.
So an early 6-2 lead for the Dutch. 3 points by the Lutes. That is no good. And it'll be a foul on the floor favoring Pacific Lutheran. Central out of Pella, Iowa. Pacific Lutheran out of Tacoma, Washington.
Yep, a great old-style West Region matchup, right? Back when those things were necessary.
DeWalt with the ball, bounce pass, and they keep feeding Webb. Webb wants it back. Webb, spin move, kicks it out. Pacific Lutheran, with a lopsided loss yesterday, wants to keep this one close early on, and layups like that will help.
Absolutely, and it was Dylan Foreman early on yesterday, too, who helped have some contributions for PLU, and he was a senior on a squad that's pretty big and pretty young for a first-year head coach in Chad Murray.
And Kyle Smith's pass a little too strong.
And not to say that Chad Murray is a first-year head coach, but he's first-year head coach for Pacific Lutheran. Previously head coach at Cornell College in Iowa for 8 years, but in his first year in the Pacific Northwest.
Well, he knows Iowa a little bit.
He knows the West Coast a little bit, too. Graduate of Chapman. Formerly assistant at Nebraska Wesleyan, at Vassar, and at North Central, all D3 schools.
He's certainly seen all 3 parts of the country, the East, the West, and the Midwest.
Oh, yeah, Vassar. That's right.
It's by New York.
I've heard of it.
It's in New York.
Poughkeepsie.
Not too far from me. 6 to shoot. Smith has it. Long jumper is good. And it's 8-4 in favor of the Dutch. We got the Dutch, we got the Lutes. We got game 14 of 15 here at the South Point Arena in Las Vegas.
That's right. We're well on the downslope now.
We are almost back to the station.
Have you checked in for your flight yet?
I'm going to do that during our next full timeout.
Sounds like a good idea.
And that is going to be a strong, hard foul there on Foreman.
Nice catch by Foreman of McKnight flashing to the basket.
See, I was smart this time. I made sure I had a seat against the window, so I'm going to put my head against the window, and I'm just going to sleep for 7 hours as we fly back to New Jersey. Probably going to have a stiff neck, but...
That's the sound of Ira crashing.
I mean, that moment's coming soon.
Hopefully not in the first half.
Oh, I got tons of energy left for you and all our fans around the country, but there's going to be a point where I'm going to hit the wall.
Well, you know, his energy and his really good energy here in the first few minutes is central. You compare this to how they started yesterday. 18-2 they were down. They missed their first 16
shots
from the field. Yeah, exactly. Craig Dillon much happier with how his team is performing right now, I'm sure.
6-point lead right now, comfortable for the Dutch against a Pacific Lutheran team that really wants to show us a little something after a lopsided loss yesterday. They won't on that possession, however, as a traveling violation will negate the possession.
Yep, turnover for Pacific Lutheran.
Wildemuth, who had a number of big shots at the end of the game yesterday. That one is off the mark, and a rebound for the Lutes. And controlling the tempo here will be Dylan DeWalde. He's a junior guard out of Danville, California. One-handed hook shot is short. Most of this team is Washington-based, but they do have some other players from down the coast. And that three-pointer is good by Kyle Smith. Smith, the senior guard out of Grand River, Iowa, 6'5", 215-pounder, averaging a little bit over 16 points a game.
Yeah, Central shooting just a hair over 35% from downtown on the season coming into the weekend. And, you know, I may have said this already, but pretty big from three yesterday en route to that upset, 13 of 40 from beyond the arc.
6 to shoot here. Three-pointer from the corner, in and out, then a rebound and a reset here. Thanks to Dylan Foreman. That inside, that is no good. Out of bounds, last touch by Central. And Pac-Lou will have another chance. 13-4, they trail.
Pacific Lutheran finding itself very quickly in a similar situation to where it was yesterday. Down big, down early, and needing to find a way to kind of battle its way back into the basketball game.
And inbounds pass here goes to Sean McLaughlin, now in the game for the first time. As they've had a couple substitutions, Kelton Williams also comes in. And the jumper is good by the newcomer, McLaughlin, the 6'6" senior forward out of Snohomish, Washington, averaging 6.6 points a game.
As far as I know, you nailed the pronunciation of that town. That's the way I've always pronounced it, and nobody's complained to me yet.
You know, I'm usually pretty good, except for some of these upper Midwest towns. For some reason, they get me.
You know, the Wisconsin ones, as it unsuccessfully saved from going out of bounds, some of the Wisconsin ones are fairly easy. It's kind of funny that, something like Nisswa or Nina, or I can't come up with what I'm thinking of, are look tough in Wisconsin, but you just kind of plow your way through them. Like you were going to say Ronkonkoma out of Long Island. Ronkonkoma. That three-point attempt is off the mark. I was just trying to give it an East Coast, relevance for you.
Massapequa
or Patchogue.
Patchogue's easy.
Yeah, well, Pachogwe.
I mean, that's just somebody.
Hoppage.
Hoppog.
Yeah, I know, right. But you could pronounce it Hoppage.
Sometimes people make it a little more difficult than it really needs to be.
Exactly.
They're trying too hard. Now, Central with the 13-6 lead here. A little bit over 6 minutes gone by here in Vegas.
Can't all be Hoboken.
Or Hoboken?
Hoboken?
That's an offensive foul. We got a lot of interesting town names in Jersey.
Casey Johnson with the offensive foul and the turnover. Johnson with a little bit of playing time yesterday, a little bit more down the stretch, but unable to help his team on that possession.
We thank those of you watching this game across the country.
And around the world.
Well, there could be a few people watching from around the world. We did it in the last game. We
on
had
Armed Forces Radio.
Oh, we had a Brazilian check-in in the last game. Saw that. And, still got one to go. And I think that'll be a pretty good one as well, as we'll have 2 nationally ranked teams duking it out, including one with another upset on its mind in Ohio Wesleyan.
Plus, it'll be tomorrow morning in Europe, so maybe people will be watching there.
It'll be almost tomorrow morning in New York. That was last touched by Central. Will remain Pac-Lou basketball.
Looking forward to our final matchup as well. We're setting it up so that we can have a pregame interview with both coaches with the wireless mic right before the game starts.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Would that be cool?
That would be very neat. 3-pointer, that's too strong. And getting his own rebound, Casey Johnson now in the game.
Yeah.
And one-handed turnaround shot is good by McLaughlin.
McLaughlin pretty quiet yesterday. He played 12 minutes, but scored 2 points, just a couple of defensive rebounds.
And inside, putting it in, is Luke Finley now in the game. Finley had a nice effort yesterday in the win over the Roadrunners. Central up by 7 here, 7 minutes into this contest. Driving to the basket, that shot is going to be too long. And Finley tracks it down. He'll leave it for his guard. It'll be Nick Drucker now at that point position as Central has gone deep into its bench. Smith, one of the few starters still on the floor. His jumper to lane, in and out. And it comes back to Smith. He thought about a 3. Really taking a 3 is Finley, and he connects.
Yeah, great thought. And here, Chad Murray not liking it, getting a timeout early.
And 18-8 is your score. Central with an early 10-point lead. It's a 30-second timeout. So we are going to keep it here. Your thoughts on the tournament thus far? Has it lived up to expectations, exceeded expectations?
I think it's been pretty entertaining. The nice thing is that even some of the games that have been blowouts have still been fun to watch. Sometimes we have some games that are pretty sloppy and just get out of control and are, it's easy to kind of mentally tune out of. I don't think we've had very many of those games at all here this time around. So that's been a positive. Everybody, of course, the coaches all really like how it's organized, and the folks at Sport Tours International do a great job of doing all of that stuff. We get to come and do all this stuff, the stuff that you see here and here. And, I think it's been a great tournament. It's been one of my favorites so far.
And we'll elaborate a little bit more on that later when I pick the brain of our fearless leader, Pat Coleman, a little bit more. But that shot is blocked down low by Finley. It was they're going to call a foul. And it will be a shooting foul. Pac-Lou will go to the line.
Well, you can be a brain picker if you like. I'm not sure what I have to offer.
No, better than being a nose picker.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
No, not at all, especially, two of us.
Coughing and hacking our way through another D3 Hoops Classic.
I tell you what, this is the best I've felt all weekend. Of course, it's on the last day.
Yeah, I feel great. I still sound like, I don't know what I sound like. That's pretty bad.
You sound like Darth Vader.
No, I don't. I can't do it. Don't tempt me
in and out
to do a bad impression, because it's easy for me to do a bad impression. But by the way, 0 for 2 from the foul line for POU on that trip.
Hey, I got rejuvenated by my evening last night, and I'm glad to share some of that with you. And on a second chance, a putback won't go. Third chance tip also, Finley unsuccessful. And Finley keeps battling forward, and he's able to draw the foul.
A lot of second, then third chance opportunities there. And, Chad Murray not particularly happy with how things are going right now. They were out-rebounded yesterday as well.
I should say Josh Bayard is now in the game, senior forward out of Snohomish, Washington.
There you go. Maybe all the players should just be from there. You'll get it.
Well, I got that town down pat.
Yes, you do.
I might just go visit sometime now.
It's no Squaw Valley, but it'll do.
Getting trapped, have to do a turnaround jumper there. No good by Wildermuth, and a rebound here for the Lutes. You could add Washington to the list of states I've never been to.
All right.
But now after being here in Vegas for the first time, that list is getting smaller.
There you go. That's right. Las Vegas is it's in Nevada. That's a state.
Yes. I've never been to Nevada before.
Well, you have now.
I have. I've walked away with more money in my pocket than I came with.
Courtesy of the, well, anyway.
Offensive foul on Bayard. We'll have some substitutions. Coming back in will be Foreman. And returning for Central will be Seth Wood. Kyle James, freshman forward out of Chalon, Washington, is also in the game. Very young Lutz squad overall. And really the only seniors of note here, Marcus Glenn, Sean McLaughlin. Everybody else is fairly young, it looks like.
Dylan Foreman, too.
I did miss Foreman, the senior. And their top second leading scorer, should say, at 11.3 points a game.
Ooh.
Wood, long shot. And going to be out of play. Neither side has scored since the timeout. It is 18-8.
Right now, Central 6 of 13 from the floor, 46%, 4 of 6 from downtown, 2 of 2 from beyond the arc. But Pacific Lutheran really struggling, 4 of 18 from the field, 0 for 6. And they have 7 offensive rebounds of those 14 misses. And imagine, they're not putting them back very successfully either.
Oh, that's an air ball right there. Wood grabbed it before Pakaloo could have a second chance. Now Smith kicks it far side. McKnight has options. Hands it over to Wildermuth.
It's always good to have options.
Three-pointer is good by Finley.
5 for 7 from downtown right now for Central. Nobody's stopping them today either.
No, and that right now is giving the Dutch a 13-point margin.
Mike DeWitt watching this game thinking, hey, don't take all the three-pointers. We gotta save some for the last game here in this building. And a long 2 on the answer by Sean McLaughlin.
Yeah, McLaughlin does answer.
21-10 the lead. 3 ball on the way. That's a nice-looking one, but it's a little bit long.
Pat with the pick-me-up is, I did cough for the first time in this game.
It's all right.
It was inevitable.
Just play it off. We'll cover each other. You don't have to tell the listeners. I like to keep them guessing.
Let's see if I still have a voice left for tomorrow's Giant Redskin game.
That's right. You're in-house PA, right?
I am. And
hydrate overnight, too. That's an airplane flight is really dry, too.
No, I will have multiple bottles of water. And
yeah, but you're going to be sleeping, too.
I will be sleeping,
yeah.
but I will
IV?
Osmosis.
Directly down your throat. That won't drown you or nothing.
Yeah, it'll be a foul on the floor here as Jamel McKnight was grabbed. So an 11-point lead for Central, and they will have the ball. That is the 5th foul on the Lutz. A couple substitutions. Returning for Central is Caden Muck.
Yep, and Zach Webb back into the game, and Kelton Williams in the first time for the Lutz.
Muck, strong move, right-handed. Basket will not go down. And a rebound here for Foreman. Pakaloo needs something here to get themselves going, as Central really has had their way with it. And an offensive foul. An illegal screen won't help.
Totally an illegal screen by Kyle James right out front. Freshman, right along the perimeter, right in front of us. About the most obvious illegal screen I've seen.
Well, the Lutz have a tough task in the regular season, having to be in a conference with both Whitman and Whitworth.
Yep.
And a tournament experience here you would think would strengthen them when it comes time to the rigors of conference play, but they have had a really slow start here today.
Yeah, and the conference is getting stronger too. Linfield men's basketball is coming back after several years of being down in the lower ends of the conference standings. So it's not getting easier in the Northwest Conference right now.
And meanwhile, Central's record, as we were talking about, has been misleading, as that shot is good by Marcus Glenn. But Central is above 500, 2-1 so far in the IIAC. And you would think that they are going to be a factor, and they've proven they can play with anybody.
Well, I mean, that's certainly true. And also, all those Central players and the coaches were out here earlier getting a nice up-close look at Wartburg as well, watching them a couple extra times here because they're both in this tournament. Whether they can play and hang with Wartburg, well, they can play Wartburg. Whether they can hang with them is another question, but at least they get an extra couple looks at it.
Well, I think Central very easily could play with Wartburg. They've proven. I mean, Ramapo, although they left here with 2 losses, they're probably still a top 15 team. I think we're going to have a timeout here. Has not been signaled whether it's 30 or full. So
they're sitting, so it's full.
Well,
but
we'll keep it here because I do want to bring something else up.
Well, actually, I want to answer Todd Pedler's Puyallup challenge in the pronunciation chat right there. I can Puyallup. PLU football plays in Puyallup, so we had to know those things back in 1999. Puyallup, Washington.
Puyallup.
I think
it's fun to say.
I believe it's a suburb of Tacoma.
Well, let me ask you this, though. When you started this site 20 years ago.
We need more than a full timeout for this.
Well, we could always extend it, but could you ever have imagined this is what the result would be? That there would be the signature tournament in the regular season in Division III basketball, and it has your name on it?
Not my personal name on it, thankfully.
Basically.
But 1997, it's hard to imagine some of these things being possible. Streaming video on the internet, right? We weren't even really streaming audio in 1997. Live stats weren't barely a thing or even a concept in 1997. What I did hope was that we could build Division III as a. I didn't know this as a term then, but build Division III as a brand, build it as a community, build it as something that meant something that people understood as, as a unit rather than this kind of collection of schools that people thought were kind of outcasts.
When we pick this topic up more later, I want to talk with Pat about where the concept was about having the tournament out here in Vegas and how it began, but we'll talk about that more during a future extended timeout. Meanwhile, back to basketball action. Pac Lou within 9 now as we approach under 7 minutes to go here in the first half.
Good looking shot right there.
3 points, no good, but a rebound. And then a traveling violation. After the rebound, Zach Webb tried to do a little too much. The junior forward/center, 6'5", out of Enumclaw, Washington.
5th turnover here in the early going for PLU.
Maybe it's Enumclaw. I think Enumclaw is what it would be.
Well, they'll let you know.
I'm sure I'll get some feedback pretty soon.
Puyallup, isn't that what I said? Did I say Puyallup? Puyallup?
I don't know.
Puyallup is
Todd,
what I said.
I think that's what Pat said.
I might have said Puyallup, and I think he's saying it should be Puyallup. So
maybe you
the
have a
Y has
Midwest
to go.
accent, though.
The
That's
Y
blocked by Wildermuth out of bounds. It'll remain Pac Lou basketball.
The Y has to go further further up in the pronunciation. It's a not a diphthong, but it kind of is because it's a vowel with the P.
Steal by Wood, 2-on-1, and he will lay it himself with his teammate Muck trailing, and the lead back to 11, 23-12.
There's actually not a lot of Iowa tough town names on this Central roster, and actually not everybody, a significant portion of not everybody is from the state of Iowa, so we can't compensate with the other side here.
True story, 1999, coming out of college, as that three-pointer is good. And Marcus Glenn knocking it down. He'll also have a chance for a 4-point play as the basket counts.
I just wanted somebody to put his arms up with 3, and I put my arms up, and the Johnson, the head official, Tom Sawyer, agreed. Yes, that was 3.
You got their attention. Glenn.
They know us.
8 of 11 from the line coming into this tournament, and that one is no good.
Missed the front end of a 1-and-1 there.
But it's still an 8-point game, 23-15.
Yeah, they had an opportunity for a 5-point possession, though. That's still missing the front end of a 1-and-1.
They look here to Smith. Smith kicks it to Wildermuth. Fall away jumper, too long. And a rebound in traffic, and he got popped in the face with Smith. I should say Muck.
Foreman picks up foul number 2. That is the 7th team foul for PLU, so Central will be shooting the rest of the half. Mock on the season came into the week 1 of 2 from the foul line. Makes the first. Yesterday, 1 of 3 from the foul line, so now 3 of 6.
By the way, I was right on my second try. It was Enumclaw.
There you go.
And
well,
sometimes you need a
2 tries.
A do-over. And that is no good. 24-15, a 9-point lead still for Central. Very different type game from yesterday, where Ramapo looked like they were going to blow Central out, and all of a sudden took their foot off the gas, and Central woke up.
Dave referred to it as a Ramapo going into Showtime mode, or was that you? Showboat mode.
Well, that was Dave, as Ramapo's in my own conference, so.
Yeah, fair.
I
I didn't try to put words in
I
your
love
mouth.
Coach McGreen. Don't want him mad at me. But that has been a criticism of the Roadrunners over the years, though. They sometimes do get a little showboaty at times and don't take their foot off the gas when they really shouldn't.
8th team foul, and that'll put Mock back at the line.
That's a good team, though. I mean, I think the NJAC's a two-bid league this year for the second year in a row. Can we finally get out of the first weekend? I don't know.
Missed the front
I
end
don't
of a
have
1
the
and 1.
answer to that.
Offensive rebound, but then lost.
The Lutes, will they hold it up? No, taking it to the rim. And missing is Williams, the freshman guard out of Renton, Washington.
Yeah, 5'9", listed at 5'9", going in against much bigger Central players.
Wood, NBA range 3, bang.
Yeah, big shot. Just when you think PLU has a chance to cut into it after the missed front end, then they miss the layup and bang on the other end for 3.
And a lead of a dozen for the Dutch. Pac-Lu, this young squad. First time I've seen them in person, as I didn't do yesterday's game. I was actually writing a story. Spin move here, a little bit off bounce on a block by Wildermuth. And who was the last touched?
Well, it was touched and went out of bounds off Central, but shot clock expired.
Yep. Good,
Meanwhile,
good eyes there.
Who
could that be with his shirts and ties?
Yep. Whitman has entered the building.
Really?
I understand we're not going to see them. I know what the cameras are in front of me.
Well, we see them, and they certainly know how to make an entrance.
In their
Wood again, this time off the mark, and a rebound by Kelton Williams.
I was just going to say, in the blue blazers and the white shirts with yellow ties. Now they're walking down the stairs.
3 points is short. Blue blazer, that was an old-time WWE wrestler.
Okay.
I'll take my word for it. And Strongton hooping, scoring in transition is McKnight.
I mean, in fairness, I don't want to challenge you on old wrestlers, so we're good.
Everybody has their, little guilty pleasure. That's mine. I am still a wrestling fan, even in my 40s.
It's all right. Wrestling needs fans like you. I don't know. I'm just saying stuff.
It's obviously fake, but we still have some fun with it.
What?
Wait, it's not real.
Fake news.
No way.
Hadn't heard.
And that's going to be a foul as Williams is undercut. We'll have 3 subs here. First coming into the game, 1 sub for the Lutes as Sean McLaughlin returns. Meanwhile, for the Dutch, returning is number 20, Luke Finley. We see Andre Johnson.
Mick Johnson.
I think that Mick is a mistake.
Mick Stick.
And a basket. And that is a basket here by Bayard, I should say.
It is a mistake.
Mistake.
Which is not something I would want to have for lunch, by the way.
Hey, we had a chicken sandwich. That's in and out there. And a rebound by Johnson. No, taken away here by the Lutes.
Mick Smith. Mick Posivio. I'm sorry.
Pat just saw this.
I'm just realizing this. Yes, I'm sorry.
And a 3-point attempt by Williams.
Well, I didn't call the Central game yesterday, so this is new to me.
So
that's Mick hilarious. Micktastic.
So Dave McHugh, his name really is McHugh. It's not Hugh. But Dave, our colleague and proud partner, has created these broadcast sheets for all of us, but on these central sheets, Jamal McKnight's name carried over a little too McMuch, as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
yeah,
6,
that's pretty cool.
7 different players have a Mick before their name as prefixes, so we all got a little laugh out of it.
We got Mick fixed.
That's Mick-tastic.
So timeout for Pacific Lutheran, full timeout.
So Pac-Lu will call timeout. So let's go back to the original question I had. 8 years ago when this tournament first came to fruition, what was the idea behind it and how did we end up out here in the desert?
Well, actually the great part is it was brought to us as basically almost a fully polished concept by Sport Tours International. They had another tournament they wanted to do, and they do other tournaments elsewhere, as we know, and wanted to do one in Las Vegas. There have been tournaments here before, and there occasionally I think even to this day, still other tournaments that are held here. But there's not really a great venue. There's not a D3 school here. Some of them have been held in like UNLV's practice facility. Some of them have been held at like local rec gyms or in high school gyms. And generally, I think the feedback from coaches was that it was not a great concept. It was a lot of work to travel, get your kids in buses, to go back and forth, et cetera, et cetera.
Especially to play at inferior arenas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot. And the only attraction was that it was Las Vegas. So this arena was here. They were already hosting. They were hosting lots of high school games here, centerpiece high school games in this city, and then Division I and Division II games came here as well. And now I'm not familiar on the whole order and history of this, but a D3 classic in this area made perfect sense. And they came to us and said, "Hey, would you like to have your name on this? Help us promote it. Come out, broadcast the games, make this into a centerpiece event for Division III," and that's what we did, and it's been a lot of fun.
And here we are 8 years later. My first experience in the tournament. Very happy to be a part of it this year. And who knows, maybe you guys will invite me back sometime, and my wife will say, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we would be perfectly open to that. I just want to remind myself, if nothing else, that back in 2010, we only had 8 teams here. 2 teams got snowed out. Amherst women and Scranton men were unable to make the trip because of a big, massive East Coast snowstorm. So it was kind of a slow start, but we learned a lot, and it's grown as been as many as 16, 17 teams. It's 15 this year.
Oh, we also know not to invite teams from Erie, Pennsylvania. On the putback there by Findlay or Buffalo.
I have no problem with Penn State Behrend or Medaille or Buff State coming on out here.
I would love to come out.
Make sure that
they might have to come out 2 weeks early.
Right, make sure you get here. That's all I ask.
I mean, they can't control the McWeather. That layup is no good.
This was more than a McFlurry for sure that they had.
No, that's well played there, young man. 31-17, the lead now for Central after that previous putback. Good ball movement now for the second team that's in the game, and a kick ball will force a reset. We do have 1 new player in the game for Central, who I do want to note. Actually, 2 new players in Jacob Hay, number 22, and Nick Drucker, senior guard out of Grimes, Iowa. McKay is a senior out of Stanwood, Iowa. And I always say I actually know better than you would expect because I actually almost took a job at a radio station in the western part of Iowa in 1999 and ended up pulling my name out of consideration. My fiance then, wife, did not want to move to the Midwest.
My near miss was I was offered the SID job at Beloit in this would have been 97, 96, something like that. And I gave it really long, hard consideration. After, after Paul Erickson left to go to Platteville, that's when I was interested in that job.
And it is last touched by the Lutes as there are bodies everywhere in the lane. And Johnson, oh my God, Johnson getting back to his feet here. It'll be Central ball. They'll get a fresh 30 with 39.7 seconds to go in the first half. That has largely been controlled by the Dutch. And the Lutes just want to get to the break within striking distance.
They need a bucket to get to striking distance. I think, coaches want to talk about wanting to come into halftime down 10 if you're trying to battle yourself back from a deficit.
Smith, turnaround, right-handed shot in the lane. It falls. And it's a 16-point lead for the Dutch with 20 seconds left. And with the balls, Kelton Williams. And the Lutes have had a lot of trouble shooting here in this opening 20 minutes. And Central's making them pay. It is Williams' 4th 3. That is no good, and that will take us to the break. With Central on top of Pacific Lutheran by a considerable margin, 33-17. Pat, your thoughts on what has been a somewhat one-sided first half?
Yeah, basically a situation in which, especially there at the end, I thought that there was a opportunity, a nice little 2-man game there, but Kelton Williams is young. He's struggled a little bit here in this tournament. Overall, of course, we talked about it previously. It is a young team for Pacific Lutheran as well. Central comes in, with an extreme amount of confidence. They played really, really well yesterday, especially for the final 30 4 minutes or so, they looked really, really good. Coming in off of that high, I can see why that energy would continue to translate over here today. And for Pacific Lutheran, they have to figure out not where the energy is going to come from, because I think Pacific Lutheran is playing with an appropriate amount of energy. They're just not finding the shots. And, 8 of 34, 1 of 11. It's going to be really difficult to win basketball games that way.
When one team is shooting 41% from the field and another team is shooting under 24%, we don't really have to tell you too much more. And that paints a pretty picture of why the scoreboard is where it is. Central on top of Pacific Lutheran by 16 at the half. And we too will take a break. And we'll be back in, about 12 minutes or so to get you set up for the second half. Game 14 of 15 here in Las Vegas.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that.
It's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
Our obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn that in giving, we receive so much more in return. Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
In any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
To stand up.
To make our community safe for all.
It's on us.
It's on us to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us.
To be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us, all of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Great moments are born from great opportunity. That's what you have here tonight. That's what you've earned here tonight. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
I used to never really talk. Ever. I was scared and shy. It was hard to look at people's faces. I was afraid if I said something wrong, everyone would laugh at me. But then I started to play golf with Special Olympics. I made friends and won lots of gold medals. But I learned more than just playing golf. Special Olympics helped me to find my voice. And now everyone else is speechless.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
For the love of the game. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
This is our It's On Us pledge. It's on us to make a personal commitment to help keep all people safe from sexual assault, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, or ability.
Not to be bystanders to the problem, but to be leaders of the solution. We invite you to join us in this campaign by informing your campuses about the It's On Us mission.
It starts right when you hit the court. You imagine your finest moment. The game-winning shot that gets you to the dance. A monster dunk or no-look pass, and cutting down the net. Sports lets us dream of our own success and prepare us for our finest moments on and off the court.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that.
It's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
Our obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn that in giving, we receive so much more in return. Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
We are calling you, all of you. We are calling all Division III schools to join our cause.
It's on us to start the change. It's on us to be the change. It's on us. It's on Division III. It's on all of us to stop sexual assault.
This is why we love sports. It's in the way they play, free from the pressures and all the money talk. Playing for simply the love of the game, where everyone has a shot at their definition of success on and off the field. This is what we love about sports, and what we can still love about college sports.
cheer for the stumbles, the he shoulda had that's, and the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Back out here at South Point Arena, 33-17 our score. Let's take a look at the halftime stats. What you see, Central has that big shooting advantage that we talked about, both from the floor and beyond the arc. 41% from the floor, 43% from beyond the arc, and PLU 24%, and just 1 for 11 from three-point range. Also 0 for 3 from the foul line. Slight rebounding edge to Central, and Central's turned over the ball 5 times compared to 6 for PLU. Central led by Luke Finley off the bench here through the first 20 minutes with 10 points and a game-high 6 rebounds as well. He's 4 for 5 from the floor. Marcus Glenn with 5. Sean McLaughlin off the bench with 6 for PLU as we get you ready for our second half of action. It's been a great set of games here at the D3Hoops.com Classic in Las Vegas, and we've been very happy to bring them to you here now in our 8th season as the name sponsor, I guess, and broadcasters and promoters of this tournament here in Las Vegas. If you're interested in coming out, contact Brett Seymour at sporttours.net, or Brett at sporttours.net or Brett Seymour at Sport Tours International, or you can contact us at d3sports.com and we'll get you to the right place because we would love to have you out here. It's not an invitational. You may get an invite from us if we really would like to see you here, but we are all about getting
we like
everybody
to see
an
new
opportunity.
teams here.
Yeah, exactly.
And we got some great basketball coming up, but first we have 20 more minutes to play here in Central, trying to add to a 16-point lead and missed by Muck, but he gets his own rebound. Second chance, no good. Then, I have now seen it for the first time ever. Tipped into the wrong basket.
How did you just talked about that at another game?
Well, I had talked about it in another game, but I've never seen it in person.
I know.
It's finally just happened.
2 in a row.
They're following me around.
Yeah, friendly fire.
There's like drones.
Yeah.
Own goal drones.
The drones are coming.
My goodness.
Here in Las Vegas for tomorrow night.
This one is in for the Lutes, so that makes it a 16-point game. Again, we had my own game. I'm running a box story from the box score from my own game that happened on the East Coast, and the other team had a basket for us. Well,
that was nice of them.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it.
Shenandoah is very gracious in that way.
Well, we'll have to send them a thank you card later on. That is a traveling violation on the Dutch. I'm just happy my own squad is 10 wins at this point, so I have something positive to be happy about.
That's a good season for a lot of programs.
Well,
we got 2 programs here who would probably, Central would probably not be satisfied with 10 wins. They're looking like they're on the upswing, and they played a tough schedule to get to their 4-7 coming in. Pacific Lutheran.
That's going to be an offensive foul well sold by Seth Wood.
I say Pacific Lutheran is going to have a tough road to get to 10 wins.
Listen, they're a young team, and what you want to see from them is progress. You're not looking at the wins and losses necessarily if you're doing a true evaluation.
Last year, 12-13, now under a new coach, Chad Murray. Murray previously the head coach at Cornell College in Mount Vernon, Iowa for 8 seasons.
So he knows the Iowa teams fairly well.
That is true. Well, they're not in the same conference, but yes.
3 points, good by Jamel McKnight.
Oh, yeah, I forgot I wasn't doing play-by-play there for a second.
You know what the thing is, that we're all 3 of us on this trip are capable of doing both jobs.
Yep, that is true.
So it's a good skill to have. Because we could take a few games not off, but
multifunctional.
What it allows us to do is multitask, and that 3-pointer is well off the mark by Marcus Glenn.
We can hot swap too if need be.
What we haven't done is really switch in the middle of the game yet. Seth Wood sets his feet, and that one is no good. Tie up on the floor. Possession arrow will favor the Lutes.
We used to do that. We used to switch at halftime. I found that if I started the game doing play-by-play, it was really difficult for me to switch back to doing color and vice versa. So
you ever do that at a red light where you get out and switch drivers?
That has that's a term. It has a name that we don't use anymore, but it still happens. I did that as a joke with my kids once, and there's a foul away from the basketball. They were so surprised, like, "What are you doing?"
We've done that a few times just to mess with them.
Yeah, I think you have to mess with your kids. If you don't mess with your kids, then they don't begin to understand chaos.
Well, listen, you and I
dealing with chaos.
Both are parents of a teenager. You've had 2 be teenagers now, so we're well accustomed to them now answering us back.
That's
as
right.
That layup is good. Good feed to Muck, who converts.
So all of you who are teenagers out there, or parents of teenagers, we feel.
If you are a teenager out there, sarcasm, your parents will appreciate that.
Your teachers might. Your friends might.
I don't think your teachers will. That 3-pointer is good by Dylan DeWalt.
Are you saying I should not recommend it to teenagers?
I mean, if you want to do it to your mom and dad, I think they'll have a little bit more respect for it than your algebra teacher.
My 12-year-old has been really good at the sarcasm thing for about 2 years now.
And that one is good as Kyle Smith answers. My son had a great response the other day. He's on his freshman basketball team in New Jersey, and he told me to pick him up for practice at 7 o'clock. And that should be an illegal screen offensive foul.
He didn't ask you
to? No, he asked me to pick him up at 7 o'clock. And then I'm still sitting there at 7:20, and I'm like, "What? Hey, text him. What the heck is going on?" And he's like, "Dad, I was told 7. I tell you 7. I can't control what time he lets me out.
Yeah, all right.
And I was like, that's my boy.
Yeah, and that's a fair response, in my opinion.
Hey, I had a lot of respect after that. I was like, that's a chip off the old block here.
Yeah, kids learn what you teach them.
The difference being, my dad would have said, you know what, you can walk home, I'm done with you. And he did. Up the hill both ways.
Then you would have taught your kids that wasn't acceptable if that wasn't acceptable to you.
Well, the difference being is I lived only 2 miles from my high school, and we're about 6 miles, so a little bit further of a walk. Of course, he'd have no excuse for not being fit anymore.
There you go. I thought basketball practice would take care of that.
He's still slow. Working on that. Firing it up is wood. If that went in, I would have just got out of my chair and left the arena.
Turn on the hose. Everybody's on fire.
It's a 21-point lead. 3-pointer no good, however, a foul on wood, and that will allow Marcus Glenn to go to the line for 3 shots.
You can't see this at home, but Ohio Wesleyan walking in the arena right now. They're getting ready for tonight's final matchup. Would almost call it a de facto championship game of the D3Hoops.com Classic.
Funny how that works out.
Between 15th ranked Ohio Wesleyan and number 1 Whitman. Yeah, we're pretty happy about that. Obviously, they're not going to be the winner of that game is not going to be the only undefeated team here at this tournament, but either one of them who does it will have beaten 1 ranked team, maybe 2, in the process.
Each team will have a sub here. Into the game for Central's Luke Finley, and for the Lutes, it's Sean McLaughlin. Out of one of my new favorite towns, Snohomish, Washington.
We'll have to get you the key to the city to Snohomish, Washington for pronouncing it.
I would love a key to a city. That would make me visit Washington for the first time.
I brought my key to the city when I went back to Salem. It didn't actually get me into anything.
Not even your hotel room?
No, it was not RFID enabled.
The follow. Finley couldn't get it. Another chance, missing again. 3 tries. No.
PLU finally gets that rebound. Jeez.
How many chances?
That was 3.
Can you possibly want there? And Pac Lu fortunate to get away, only down by 19. A lot of basketball still to be played. We've seen comebacks before, but
from 19 points, in fact.
Oh, absolutely. However, as that 3-pointer is short, rebound here by Smith, and they quickly push the ball forward. I don't see any reason to believe Central's going to take its foot off the gas.
No, true. Only if shots stop falling, and they haven't proven that so far.
Wood, that one doesn't fall, and a push off. The foul will be on Kyle Smith.
In the first half, Mock had 2 fouls. Nobody else in foul trouble for PLU. Johnson off the bench with 2 quick fouls in 4 minutes of action. Dylan Foreman with 2. But again, not a lot of fouls called. The officials here really like to let them play.
Jacob Hay, the senior out of Stanwood, Iowa, will come back in, and it is Pac Lu basketball, trailing by 19. Ira Thor, Pat Coleman with you live here. Game 14 of 15 in Las Vegas. 3-pointer did not graze the iron. And it will be Central basketball.
Yep, that's a situation where a 21-foot shot went about 19'9".
That's pretty much the way my shots looked last night when I was shooting around the arena. Turnaround jumper in and out by Finley. And another Lutz rebound. They push the ball quickly up the floor. Leaving it here for Glenn. Now Glenn switches back to Glenn. He shoots for 3, and that's no good. Goes for his own rebound, and somehow Smith is able to pull it down.
I like at least that he followed his shot. That seems to be the lost art these days.
And he fouled it immediately. Must have known he was off the mark. Not off the mark. Malik Wildermuth for 2. And the lead is back to 21. And that matches the largest for the Dutch in this contest. Carroll beat Pac Lu yesterday by 22, 76-54.
And the ball just batted out of bounds and remained PLU basketball with 15 to shoot.
Lutz will inbound here. We'll take a look at the upcoming schedules for both these teams. Next chance we get is that could not be handled inside. Now in the game, Nick Drucker, he'll take the ball up the court, leaves it for Wildermuth. Great ball movement by Central all the way around. Everybody making a touch on this possession. Smith. He'll get the ball back after moves around the key. In and out. And the follow knocked in. Credited, I believe, to Nick Drucker.
And I just like the ball movement in general on that. You talked about it. It was on the pass out into the corner. Ball was a little bit deflected. Got there slowly. So instead of chucking it up, threw it around, got an open shot at the top of the key. That didn't go down, but the tip in did.
23-point lead and traveling violation on the Lutz. And they will sub. They'll bring back in number 33, Zach Webb.
11th turnover on the afternoon for the Lutz.
Pac Louis shooting 25%, Central 40%. We don't have to look too much further than that. Central losing the ball, strip here by Bayard. Underneath, the Walt had it. Foul will be called here. I believe it's on Luke Finley.
That's his first, third foul of the half. 3 fouls each way here with 12:27 to go in the game.
And knocked away, but regained by Pac Lou.
But the officials let a little bit of incidental contact go there, which I appreciated.
Hand check there, they do not allow go. That's on Nick Drucker. 2 fouls on Drucker, and that is now 4. Correction, 3 on the Lutz in this half. I'm sorry, it's on Central. It's their 4th. I was right the first time. 3-point shot is good by Bayard.
Just the third 3 ball to go down here for PLU.
3 of 17. They have had their struggles from beyond the arc.
4 for 15 here yesterday as well.
That's not been their forte this weekend, and they are in danger of losing 2 games by over 20 points here in Las Vegas. They will get the loose ball here as it's corralled by Glenn. Pac Lou's going to have a tough schedule coming up with the 2 W's and some other teams in the Northwest. And that pull-up jumper knocked down. New player in the game, Shea Kararuto. Kirkaruto. Freshman guard out of Seattle, Washington.
He got a lot of playing time yesterday.
First time we've seen him today. And he knocks down the first shot that he's taken here in the second half.
He had 4 points yesterday, but also had 4 turnovers.
And 3-pointer, that answers the shot as Drucker knocks it down. 50-29, the lead 21.
9th 3 ball on the afternoon for Central, 9 of 22 from beyond the arc.
3-point shot. Thus, foot is on the line. It's a 2-point shot, but another quality shot here for Pac Lou, which has suddenly been able to hit 3 in a row.
Yeah, getting a little bit into the flow of the game. Game moving back and forth a little bit now.
Going to give our fans watching this one online a little bit more something, as this game not over yet. And that ball way off the mark, and a rebound by Kyle James, freshman forward out of Chalon, Washington. And that one won't go, but a foul is drawn. Taking it to the rim was Kirkaruto. So Kirkaruto is an 80% foul shooter on the season. He has not started the game yet, but this is his 9th appearance. That one is off the mark. We'll see a substitution. Returning to the game for the Dutch will be Andre Johnson. That also is no good. And Central with the rebound after 2 misses. So we are approaching the midway part of this second half. Ira Thorpe, Pat Coleman, game 14 of 15 at the 8th annual D3Hoops.com Classic.
And I feel great for penultimate game here, you know?
I can't believe how lively I feel. That 3-pointer knocked down. 3 points for Jacob Hay. I mean, I was joking that, I mean, there's just so much that the Energizer Bunny can take, but
it does actually keep going and keep going and keep going.
Well, I can't believe the adrenaline's still going. You know,
yeah, adrenaline's a wonderful thing.
For those fans who were paying attention, I actually started, this is day 4 of a 5-day trip for me. I started at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx doing the Pinstripe Bowl as press box announcer for the Iowa-BC game. That was a 5 o'clock game. Got on a 6 a.m. flight the next day out of Philly to join you fellas out here in Vegas.
Yep.
Somehow I'm still going. And I won $325 at the blackjack table with my man Pat Coleman last night.
Take note, Internal Revenue Service. I did not win any money.
No, you lost everything. Oh, I was so sad. I was tempted to hand you some money.
No, please don't. The last thing I wanted to do was stay at that table and keep cards away from you. You went on a streak.
It is amazing how once you left, my luck totally changed.
Everybody's luck totally changed. The dealer was wiping the table with us, and then it went the other way around.
That basket is good by Muck. My wife actually texted me. She was very pleased with my maturity level because younger Ira, and of course living in New Jersey, Atlantic City's not far away.
Yep.
Younger Ira would not have had the maturity to say, you know what, I'm done. And a timeout is called here by the Lutes. And that is a full timeout, so we'll take a break as well. Central 55, Pac Luth 31. You're watching D3Hoops.com Classic in Vegas. We'll be back with more.
Receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
For the love of the game. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
And we're back here in Vegas. Ira Thorpe, Pat Coleman with about 9 minutes to go, and Central with a comfortable 24-point lead. Pacific Lutheran wants to see if they can come a little closer. That is no good off-balance shot, as falling hard to the floor was Casey Johnson, fresh into the game off the timeout. 3 points, Central, bang! Knocked down by Nick Drucker. And now the Dutch are just having their way.
Drucker's second three-pointer. 6 players good from three-point range here for the Dutch on the afternoon.
And the basket is good here by Josh Bayard. Take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Lutes. As once they get into January, they are deep in the conference play. They'll be at Linfield and George Fox. For Willamette and Lewis and Clark are on the schedule. And another by Central, 61-33. They lead by 28 as Johnson knocks it down. And Pacific Lutheran, they are in danger of being blown out of this arena.
That's a fair way to put it right now. It's been a struggle, to say the least. Just not finding enough shots going down and not getting not getting any defensive stops.
That shot's off the underside of the basket. And Central keeping its foot on the accelerator. That one's off the mark. Pacific Lutheran got it its own way. And
that's the single leg takedown. Here's the reversal. Yep.
Is it a timeout or is it a travel violation? It could be either or.
Held ball, tie up.
So it will be a tie up favoring the Lutes. They have had the arrow. That will change in a moment. 7:20 to go. And of course, coming up next, it is our de facto championship game. You guys must have had a vision of grandeur.
You know, we didn't really set game times. We just set matchups.
Well, you got 14th ranked Ohio Wesleyan and top ranked Whitman, and they will duke it out. That's coming up next. We hope you stay tuned. Down low, and 2 powered for Caden Muck. And 2 players banged up underneath, and it looks like Shea Caruto, he took the brunt of that.
Got rolled up on there.
And trainer out to take a look at Caruto, the Seattle, Washington native, 6 foot 180. He is slow to get off and will need some help to do so. So they will sub Central on that last basket, has their largest lead of the game at 30 points. Returning to the game here will be Kelton Williams. We got Williams, Foreman, along with Johnson, Bayard, and Leighton Kingma on the floor for the Lutes. They just want to try to make it respectable here now with under 7 to play. Floater in the lane, that's going to fall in by Bayard. We talked about the upcoming schedule for Pacific Lutheran, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Central.
Dave McHugh was looking for a carry. I was like trying to remember the last time I saw a carry called, that is. So they come back out. They play Wartburg right off the gate.
That's a pretty tough game to have right out of the new year, but
well, they've seen him play here the last couple of
got
days.
an advanced scouting report, that's for sure.
Out to Buena Vista on the weekend, and then they have Co coming to their place, and they go to Loris, which apparently likes to throw the ball up a lot. Be interested to see what the final score of that game turns out to be coming up in a couple weeks.
3-pointer here is short, and Josh Wood. Seth Wood with the rebound. And we are approaching 6 minutes to go. Finger roll layup is good by Kyle Smith. Senior guard out of Grand River, Iowa. Their leading scorer at over 16 points a game, having another fantastic effort. This one, layup is well off the mark, and Johnson hauls it down.
Off the missed shot from Casey Johnson.
Johnson will kick it out, and that'll be a blocking foul here on the Lutes. And it will be a 1-and-1, I believe.
No, it's a 2-shot foul.
I'm looking at the wrong fouls. Anyway, the Lutes only have 4, so it has to be a 2-shot foul. Good catch here by my colleague, Pat Coleman.
Foul is on Dylan Foreman. He's got 4.
Johnson's first foul shot is good. And returning for the Lutes, actually returning, this is actually his first time in, Jack Adams III at Hoquiam, Washington.
Whoa, sure.
That looks right.
Well, go back to the chat to see if we're wrong there. Yeah.
Well, we got a little bit of a delay, so I'll find out in a few moments if I'm wrong.
Jack Adams III got a little bit of time off the bench yesterday as well. 6 minutes of action, a couple of defensive rebounds, an assist, a turnover.
That is off the mark as well, and a rebound by the Dutch. Their lead 32. How much further can they push it? This is their largest margin. Johnson, 3, that's no good. And if I'm Central and the final 4 and 5 minutes of this game, I probably would just be content at running some clock and getting out of here with a surprising 2-0 result to the tournament. You know, this is a game coming in, you would think Central probably had the upper hand.
Sure. But you wouldn't have thought that yesterday.
No, not at all, especially with the start they had, and Ramapo never saw it coming.
Luke Posivio coming into the game, and Jaden Moody into the ball game as well with Adam Flynn for Central. Andre Johnson stays on the floor. Caden Mock stays on the floor as well.
And I know that on Monday, when I received from Gordon Mann the updated records and results for all the teams we consider for the top 25, I'm just going to have to just start over. Well, with the exception of Whitman, as that 3 is good.
Well, you don't know that. You don't know that yet. They have yet to play.
To be honest, no matter what happens, I don't think I would knock Whitman out at the top spot.
All right.
I was that impressed with them yesterday and all season long. And I wouldn't punish them unless somehow they got blown out against Ohio Wesleyan.
Who would have thought that Ohio Wesleyan might blow out a top 10 team here?
Well, they did it to Ramapo, a team that I had been voting number 2, and I was not right there.
Okay, I led you right to that point. You finished
Well,
it.
listen,
Well
I mean, I feel it's hard sometimes because you don't want to be biased towards teams in your own league.
Oh.
As that pretty pass there to number 33, Jacob Moody, checking into the game as he's able to knock it down. The sophomore guard out of Cambridge, Iowa. You know, but I see Ramapo probably 8 times a year as that jumper is good by Williams. So maybe I have a higher opinion of them than maybe I should. I think that's natural for teams that you see more than others.
Could be.
You know, I hadn't seen Ohio Wesleyan.
That's why we have voters all across the country and not just 25 at random.
And you know what? I try to do my homework each week, and when I'm wrong, I'll admit it and I'll start over.
There's definitely something to be said
What
for
a block.
Oh, nice block by
Luke
Posivio.
Posivio. Also in the game for the first time, the 6'8" senior.
First block of the season.
Out of Iowa City, Iowa. And a rebound here by the Lutes. Almost turned it over. The lead.
Entry pass, yeah.
29.
Outlet pass into Joshua Baird's back.
But I tell you what, Ohio Wesleyan, I was way wrong about them, and they're going to move dramatically up my poll when I do that. And that layup by Williams is good. We'll have 3 subs. We're going to go deep into the Lutz bench. As entering will be Luke Worley, a freshman guard at Wenatchee, Washington. Who else is in the game? We got number 40, Kyle James, a freshman forward at Chelan, Washington. I'm sure we'll have one more sub when we come back. Is that a full or is that 30, Pat?
That's a full.
It's a full. You want to take a break? Let's do it.
We're heading out. We'll
69-42, Central on top.
It starts right when you hit the court. You imagine your finest moment. The game-winning shot that gets you to the dance. A monster dunk or no-look pass. And cutting down the net. Sports lets us dream of our own success and prepare us for our finest moments on and off the court.
Defining moments. Championship dreams. Share the experience with your family and friends. The 2017 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship, March 17th and 18th at the Salem Civic Center in Salem, Virginia. Visit ncaa.com/tickets for your tickets today.
We're back. A quick timeout that ended early. Central turned it over. And 3-point shot here missed by the Lutes.
Dave needs some 30-second breaks in here.
Well, you know what? New toy.
Yeah.
And I think eventually we'll have 15, 30s, 45s, and 60s.
That's right. Also, little overlay ads. Hey, coming up next on the network, it's Murder, She Wrote. I don't know.
Is that still in the air?
Oh, I think Angela Lansbury's still doing it.
Jumper is good.
Whether it's being televised, I'm not sure.
Zachary
She's just
Goff in
solving.
the game.
She's just solving mysteries in Crabapple Cove or whatever it's called. That's what it's called, right? Did I make that up?
How old is she now?
She's she's making Betty White look good.
And Central's Connor Headley, I think I got that right, into the game now for the first time. He gets a big cheer from his bench. The senior forward out of New Sharon, Iowa, gets into the scoring column. That shot was blocked. Lutz get it back. They trail 71-44. We have 2 minutes remaining here in our 14th of 15 games.
A lot of enthusiasm on the Central bench for their players who are in the game right now.
And this has been all Central pretty much from the early stages of this contest. And now the reserves trying to get in the action. They push the ball quickly up the court. McRenz Bruce doing a lot of the ball handling. Also in the game, Adam Flynn. Bruce has it, cross-court pass, straight away 3. Healy off the mark, and a rebound by Bailey Alabanza.
Up ahead, layup no good.
And that jumper no good. Rebound by Posivio, as we're seeing a lot of the practice players finally get an opportunity. And, of course, they're going to have a little fun while they're out there. Posivio jump shot is short.
These are not practice players. These are roster players.
Well, I'm sorry, but, you don't get to see as much time. I was once in that same position.
Scout team. Maybe scout team. We'll call them that.
I didn't play too much until my last year.
Of bowling ball.
71-44. But you feel sometimes for the guys who don't see a ton of action. And you don't want them just to run out the clock. Everybody on the team is there for a reason. Give them a chance to play. And these will be some minutes that everybody remembers out here in Las Vegas.
True.
And what basketball, a big part of this trip, but also the team camaraderie, the bonding part. We talked about with coaches throughout the trip. And they've all expressed how important it is to the dynamic of their teams. As the second free throw rolls out by Kelton Williams. And these young men will all leave Las Vegas, hopefully with some positive memories regardless of the results on the scoreboard. And turnover there by Bruce. That's too high. We have 54 seconds to go.
Just going through and picking out all tournament selections for these two teams. Yeah, I don't know what.
No, we're telling we're having some audio difficulties apparently.
I'm not seeing that, and
I'm not seeing it here.
Producer's out of the room.
Well, hopefully you still hear us. If not, that is blocked away. Nice play there by Connor Healy, getting up to block the shot by Jack Adams III. 37.6 to go, and of course stick around because we got the Super Bowl coming up.
You turn your sound on.
Well, I always have my sound off so I don't distract myself.
I understand that, but of course now we're just ambient noise. Moving the ball around, just
I've been ambient noise for a long time. 3-point attempt, that is no good. Rebound by the Lutz. And they will bring the ball up the court. Maybe one final chance here. Ball's knocked out of bounds. A little bit under 10 seconds to play. 9.4 on the big board behind the basket. Central will win their second of this tournament. They will improve to 5-7 on the year with a date with Wartburg coming up after the new year. Pacific Lutheran, they're going to fall to 3-7. That shot is good. You could add the three-pointer by Alabanza to the box score, but that'll do it. A 23-point win for Central. An impressive weekend of results for the Dutch here in Las Vegas, Pat.
What I'm happy about, too, is we have 35 minutes to get set for the next game. We got some bells and whistles we're going to throw on there, and we're looking forward for that. But this has been that was an entertaining game. Again, like we were talking about earlier, even the blowouts have been entertaining. They haven't been poorly played. In this case, Central giving the opportunity for a lot of its bench players to come in and not just throw the ball around, right? Not just run clock, but still run their offense. And I didn't think that was a big deal in a 20-some point game. I thought that was just fine.
No, not at all, and I had no issue with that. And you know what? A tournament like this, you want to see as many of your guys get in the game. They're paying their money to get out here. Division III level, there's a lot of fundraising involved to be able to get teams to come to these tournaments. And these young men deserve to have that experience regardless of what is shown on the scoreboard. So, Central with the comfortable win today, 71-48. And they will head into IIAC conference play. Meanwhile, Pacific Lutheran will head back to Tacoma, and they will deal with the Northwest Conference, which has become one of the better leagues in Division III. Coming out after the new year, we'll take a look at the final stats before we officially sign off and get ready for the Super Bowl of the D3Hoops.com Classic.
Whoa, all right. First for Pacific Lutheran, which falls to 3-7. They were led by Marcus Glenn and Joshua Baird with 9 points apiece. You should do halftime stats, actually, or post-game stats. I have a thing I have to go take care of. I apologize.
Pat will show me how to sign off the air here.
I'll come back and handle that.
Not a toy that I only need a
couple minutes.
Well, we don't have too many highlights here. We'll give you Central's as Luke Finley off the bench. Great performance, 12 points, 5 of 9 from the field. He had 10 rebounds for a double-double. All of this in 16 minutes of action. Also, Kyle Smith, 5 of 11 from the field. He hit a couple threes, 12 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 10 points for Jamel McKnight. He had 2 threes. Seth Wood, 8 points, including 2 threes. Keaton Muck, in 19 minutes, had 9 points and 9 rebounds. And then a couple notable performances. 6 points from Nick Drucker off the bench in 14 minutes. And Andre Johnson had 5. Central shot 42.9% overall. They hit 12 threes in the win and only shot 7 free throws. They out-rebounded Pacific Lutheran 50-39. For the Lutes, they fall to 3-7 on the year. Nobody got into double figures. 2 players scored 9. Marcus Glenn had 9 points. Also 9 points from Joshua Bayard. And after that, 6 points and 4 rebounds from Sean McLaughlin. Nothing else really of note. Better shooting second half for the Lutes, 37.5%. But they shot 30% for the game. And they pretty much were outplayed from the early stages of the first half when Central led by 16 at the break. They win by 23, and they leave Las Vegas with 2 wins on the tournament. Pacific Lutheran heads back to Tacoma with 2 losses, and they will reset for the second half of their schedule. We thank Pat Coleman, my analyst for this broadcast, and we will be back in about 20 minutes for 14th ranked Ohio Wesleyan against number 1 ranked Whitman. On behalf of D3Hoops.com, I'm Ira Thor. Thanks for watching game 14 of our 15 game weekend. Oh, we got one left. Stay tuned for that one. It's a 6 o'clock tip-off here in Las Vegas. We hope you'll join us.